to welcome the class of 2026.
Stay with me real fast. Ready? Last two measures. Last two measures. Ready? 1, 2.
Please stand for our national anthem, sung by our RHS senior choir members.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
As we are guests today at the University of Washington, we want to acknowledge the Coast Salish peoples of this land, the land which touches the shared waters of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. Thank you, and please be seated.
Up for all of it. You worked hard and you pushed through. But here's the bigger picture. All of that effort was never really about a number on a page. It was about what happened to you in the process. It was about the discipline you built, the curiosity you developed, and the resilience you didn't know you possessed. The grades were just the vehicle. The person you were becoming was always the destination. You have grown up in a time when pressure is louder, heavier, and more constant than it ever was for the generations before you. That kind of weight can wear people down. It can make the world feel overwhelming, or, and this is the part I hope you carry with you, it can become a profound source of empathy and strength. When you've carried that kind of weight, you begin to understand it in yourself and in others. You slow down, you breathe, you reach out, and you let that pressure shape the way you move through the world with greater clarity. As you step into what's next, remember you are infinitely more than your achievements. Take what you've learned in and out of the classroom to build a life that feels good, not just one that looks good. Choose joy, choose rest, and choose people who support the real you. Your community is incredibly proud of you. We celebrate your hard work and your achievements, but even more, we celebrate your growth. On behalf of the Lake Washington School District Board of Directors, congratulations, Red Bank Class of 2026.
Good evening. My name is John Holman, Superintendent of the Lake Washington School District. Good evening, families, friends, staff, board members, and most of all, please join me in welcoming the class of 2026. Today is truly a celebration. It's a celebration of years of learning, growth, friendship, challenges overcome, dreams beginning to take shape. It is a celebration of a journey that has brought each of you to this moment right here. As Mustangs, your mascot offers an important lesson. Mustangs are admired for their strength and resilience, but perhaps most importantly, they are known for their willingness to always keep moving forward. They are symbols of confidence, determination, and the courage to explore what lies beyond the horizon. Graduates, there is meaning in that heritage. The path to graduation is rarely a straight line, and I'm sure there were times where the destination seemed further away than it should have. Yet those moments often become our greatest teachers. They build resilience, they shape character. And here you are tonight. Your presence today is evidence of your perseverance and your commitment to finishing what you started. As you look ahead, carry both independence and gratitude with you. You earned this diploma through your hard work and determination, but no meaningful accomplishment is achieved entirely alone. Today's celebration belongs to you, but is also shared with the families, teachers, coaches, friends, and mentors who helped make this moment possible. You know who those people are. For generations, the Mustangs have symbolized the spirit of the American West, not because it remains where it is comfortable, but because it is willing to venture into what comes next. Today, graduates, you stand on your own horizon. The future has not yet been written, and that is exactly what makes it full of possibilities. And as I stand here today, I will take a moment of personal privilege. My wife, Rachel, and I are here tonight as parents of a graduate of Redmond High School. Absolutely. This moment comes with mixed emotions for all of us in this room. And my reminder to families in the room is to remind your child that you are proud of them and that you love them. They need to hear this from you. Benjamin, I love you and I'm proud of you. And I'm supposed to finish a speech after that. Congratulations, class of 2026. We are so tremendously proud of you. Go forward with confidence, pursue your aspirations boldly, and continue to embody the very best of what it means to be a graduate of the Lake Washington School District and of Redmond High School. Congratulations.
Class of 2026, take a moment and look around. Find your friends and family in the audience. Look at the folks sitting to the right and the left of you. The people gathered here today represent thousands of moments that shaped your journey. They're the people who helped with homework, drove you to practice, sat through performances and competitions, listened when things were difficult, celebrated your successes, and encouraged you to keep going when the path forward wasn't always clear. Your story did not unfold in isolation. It was built through relationships, experiences, challenges, and opportunities that over time helped you become the person and the member of this graduating class sitting before us today. One of the most remarkable things about education is that we rarely recognize growth while it's happening. It usually feels slow and ordinary. It happens one assignment at a time, one conversation at a time, one setback and one success at a time. Then one day, seemingly all at once, we look up and realize that the uncertain freshmen who walked through the doors have become uncertain seniors, because honestly, who wouldn't be uncertain trying to figure out a parking lot full of portables, miles of construction fencing, and giant walls blocking off what used to be hallways and classrooms? I mean, really, we did not make this year easy for you. But all joking aside, you have become capable, confident, and thoughtful adults ready for what comes next. As educators, we have the privilege of witnessing that transformation every year. We see young people become leaders, teammates, artists, scholars, innovators, and advocates. Most importantly, we see them become themselves. Today is a celebration of everything you have accomplished, but it is also a celebration of who you've become. Your diploma represents your ability to grow and continue moving forward, even when the path was difficult. Class of 2026, your future will undoubtedly include challenges that none of us can predict. If your time at Redmond High School has taught you anything, I hope it is that success is always possible and that you are capable of more than you know. On behalf of the entire staff of Redmond High School, thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. It has been our honor to learn alongside you, support you, and cheer you on. Congratulations, class of 2026. I would like to invite Mr. Josh Rail to join me on stage, please. One of the greatest measures of a person's character is not what they achieve for themselves, but how they impact the people around them. Each year, Redmond High School recognizes a graduating senior whose actions have made our school community stronger, more welcoming, and more connected. The Citizenship Award honors a student who consistently demonstrates kindness, respect, service, and a genuine commitment to others. These are the students who lead not for recognition, but because they care. They include others, lift people up, bridge differences, and make those around them feel seen, valued, and supported. Please welcome Spanish teacher Mr. Josh Rail, the staff member who nominated this year's recipient and will present the Citizenship Award.
I've been at Redmond High School for 3 years. This student that is receiving this award tonight has never been in my class, but their impact has been felt by teachers, by students, and by the community members at large with all of the different ways that they interact with it. Somebody once said that citizenship is not how you serve, but what you give back. And this student really emulates that giving back and that mentorship. He leads with kindness. He leads with his heart in the way that he interacts and mentors students from various backgrounds, in the way that he has helped lead the band as a drum major, as well as how he has participated in the pit crew orchestra, how he has mentored different members of ASB, how he's participated in rec leagues. He even, let's be honest, does a really mean rendition of the Trolls theme song of Get Back Up Again to the top of his lungs. Ladies and gentlemen, as the famous song from Wicked once says, because we have known you, we have been changed for good. It is my honor to present the Citizenship Award to Mr. Reed Watson.
I now invite you to direct your attention to the stage for a performance by the RHS Chamber Choir together with the Chamber Orchestra and Wind Ensemble under the direction of Miss Cammie Gates.
Because I knew you, I have been changed.
Thank you for that incredible performance. Each year, seniors have the opportunity to apply to be the student speaker at graduation. Through a process of writing, revising, and presenting their speeches, students share their reflections on the high school experience and the journey of the graduating class. After careful consideration, a panel of staff members selects one speaker whose message will be shared with the class of 2026. Our student speaker this year is someone who embodies the many qualities we hope to cultivate in Redmond High School graduates: scholarship, leadership, service, and a strong sense of identity. Please join me in welcoming Hannah Gubbermichael to the stage. Born in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Hannah carries great pride in her heritage and the experiences that have shaped who she is. She has spent her educational journey in Lake Washington schools, attending Redmond Elementary, Redmond Middle School, and Redmond High School. Throughout her 4 years at RHS, Hannah has distinguished herself through an extraordinary commitment to academics and service. She has been actively involved in numerous organizations, including National Honor Society, Science National Honor Society, Speech and Debate Honor Society, Black Student Union, Key Club, WANIC, and HOSA. Her involvement reflects not only her impressive work ethic, but also her desire to lead, serve, and contribute to her community. This fall, Hannah will attend the University of Washington, where she plans to study biology on a pre-med track. Her ambition, dedication, and commitment to helping others suggest that she will have a bright future. Welcome, Hannah.
Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, parents, teachers, and the incredible class of 2026. We did it. 4 years of high school has officially come to an end. Or, as I like to call it, the world's longest season of Survivor, High School Edition. Let's start with the real heroes of this journey, our teachers. They survived our endless questions, our last-minute assignments, and perhaps most impressively, our handwriting. Honestly, some of our notes looked like ancient hieroglyphics. And to our parents and families, thank you. You are the quiet force behind all of this. The reminders, the support, the belief, even when we didn't see it in ourselves. This moment isn't just ours, it's yours too. 4 years ago, when we walked into this school as nervous freshmen, clutching our schedules like little treasure maps, over time, we learned the important things, like how to dodge hallway traffic jams that felt like mini New York City rush hours. If you had asked us back then what today would feel like, we probably would have said relief. Relief that the deadlines would end, relief that the alarms would finally be turned off, relief that we made it. But standing here now, it feels like something bigger. It feels like we're standing at the edge of a blank page, one that's waiting for us to write the next chapter. And that's exciting. But if we're being honest, it's also a little scary. Because the moment we step off this stage, the world starts asking, what's next? What's your plan? Where are you going? These questions get loud. They follow us into conversations, into expectations, into quiet moments when we feel like we're supposed to have everything figured out. But maybe the most important question isn't being asked nearly enough. Who do you want to be? Not what the title you want, not what salary you want, not what looks impressive on paper, but who are you when no one's grading you, when no one's watching you, when no one is telling you what comes next? Because that version of you, the quiet, unfiltered one, that's the one that builds your life. Sometimes, along the way, we start believing we needed all the answers by now. But here's the truth, none of us do. And maybe that's what growing up really is. And not having answers, but learning to ask better questions. Questions like, what matters to me? What kind of impact do I want to leave? Am I becoming someone I'm proud of, or just someone who looks successful? Because success without meaning feels empty. But a life with meaning, even a messy one, feels full. I'm reminded of a poster I used to see in the wall in science class. It said, 30 years from now, it won't matter what shoes you wore, how your hair looked, or the jeans you brought. What will matter is what you learned and how you used it. So don't just aim to be successful by the world's standards. Aim to be useful. Aim to be kind. Aim to be the person who uses what they know to make a difference in a room that needs it. What sticks with us is the character that we've built in these hallways and the way we choose to use our voices once we leave. So, class of 2026, as we step into whatever comes next, remember this: life isn't a straight line. It's not a checklist. It's not a race to see who gets there first. It's a journey. Messy, unpredictable, beautiful, and it belongs to you. So take the risks, take the detours, take the moments that makes you laugh, the ones that make you think, and the ones that change you. Don't rush to the finish line. Build a life that feels like it's yours. And here's the truth, I hope you never forget. You weren't born to fit into a story someone else already wrote. You were born to write a story no one has ever read before. So congratulations, class of 2026.
I'm going to ask the Redmond High School department chair people to please approach the stage at this time. Stepping to the microphone is Associate Principal Rob Jones, who will be assisted by our RHS department chairs in presenting the Academic Achievement Awards.
Good evening. It is my honor to present the graduating senior class Academic Department Award winners. Each year, a maximum of 6 students per department are recognized and honored for their outstanding accomplishments in specific content areas. From these recognized students, the staff in each department will select one student to receive their overall department award. Winners of the department award must meet the following criteria. The student has taken beyond the minimum or beyond the expected sequence of courses within the department. The student has a 3.0 or better GPA in department courses. The student has demonstrated leadership skills. The student has contributed to classes, to the department, and to the school by initiating projects and/or offering services. The student has demonstrated an application of the skills learned in the department within the community. The student has consistently chosen academic challenge within the department. And the student has the highest academic and personal integrity. For each department award, I will read the names of the recognized students. Students, if you hear me call your name, please stand. I will then read the name of the winner of the department award. If you are the winner, please come up to the stage and receive your award from the department chair. Family, friends, and staff, please hold your applause as I ask students to stand for recognition. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the Redmond Academic Growth and Achievement Award presented by Ms. Fowler? Michael Sakilian, Isaac Johnson, Joe Cronkite, Divine Jackson, and Raymond Sivakumar. This year's overall winner is Divine Jackson. Please come to the stage and be recognized. Miss Fowler, she's over there. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the Visual and Performing Arts Department Award presented by Ms. Shackle? Kenneth Hashimoto, Reed Watson, Oscar Ulitala, Tashi Wagmare, Mia Sudo, and Kimberly Ong. This year's overall winner is Oscar Ulatelo. Please come to the stage and be recognized. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the Career and Technical Education Department Award presented by Mr. Finley? Jake Shui, Thomas Bursigal, Siba Richter, Jaden Heath, Lucia Ledesma Ocho, and Lily Viola. This year's overall winner is Lucia Ledesma Ocho. Please come to the stage and be recognized. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the English Department Award presented by Ms. Womble? Kimberly Ong, Freya Rieger, Julieta Hernandez Orozco, Sam Gauthier, Oscar Ulitelo, and Hannah Gabra-Michael. This year's overall winner is Hannah Gabra-Michael. Please come to the stage to be recognized. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the Multilingual Learners Department Award presented by Teacher Fujini? Leslie Guzman, Daniel Kitia, Graycor Hernandez, Melody Panahande, Lena Alrubei, and Sanabar Mohammadi. This year's overall winner is Leslie Guzman. Please come to the stage and be recognized. Not here. Okay. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the Math Department Award presented by Ms. Iliescu? Kimberly Ong, Amanadine Dennis Larock, Aaron Kay, Iris Jung, Fiona Ballas, and Adarsh Prasad. This year's overall winner is Irish Jung. Please come to the stage and be recognized. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the Physical Education Department Award presented by Ms. Horswell? August Fernandez, Thomas Versigal, Lido Rivers, Freya Rieger, and Siri Mudalik Desai. This year's overall winner, August Fernandez, please come to the stage and be recognized. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the Science Department Award presented by Mr. Hughes? Dhruv Matul, Chase Jonu, Srinidhi Santhakumar, Colby Sue, Sam Gauthier, and Neha Fatak. This year's overall winner is Colby Sue. Please come to the stage and be recognized. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the Social Studies Department Award presented by Mr. Gunderson? Cheyenne Hawk, Kimberly Ong, Soren Copeland, Freya Rieger, Reed Watson, Bohui Wong. This year's overall winner is Soren Copeland. Please come to the stage and be recognized. Will the following students please stand as honorees of the World Language Department Award presented by Mr. Kuiper? Barrett Rugi, Amruta Rashinkar, Martina Treviso, Emma Sipos, Isabella Reed, and Zachary Liu. This year's overall winner is Barrett Ruge. Please come to the stage and be recognized. Thank you all. This concludes our department awards. Congratulations to our award winners, honorees, and the entire class of 2026.
We will now honor our graduates for achievements in athletics. Please welcome Redmond High School Athletic Director, Mr. Dan Pudwill, who will present tonight's Athletic Achievement Awards.
Today it is my honor and privilege to present the 25-26 Student Athlete of the Year Award to two senior athletes, one male and one female, who have demonstrated outstanding athletic achievement, strength of character, and solid academic standing in their 4 years at Redmond High School. Each is the recipient of the 25-26 Senior Student Athlete of the Year. This year's female recipient has made her mark in the record books of Redmond High School. She's been able to accomplish this through sheer determination and dedication to her craft. As her coach stated, she consistently arrived early to practice and was often the last to leave the practice or the weight room. He further went on indicating this athlete was a strong leader, tactician, and teammate. Circling back to the record books, she's placed herself as either second or third in 7 different events in RHS history. She is a KingCo champion and a district champion and a state qualifier in 4 events. She was named Team MVP and will be continuing her track journey at Western Washington next year. This future Western Washington Viking and past RHS track superstar and current Redmond 25-26 Senior Female Student Athlete of the Year is none other than Penny Atwood. See how quick she got up here? Fast. All right, our recipient for the Male Athlete of the Year is the increasingly rare multi-sport athlete, excelling in both sports at the varsity level. In one of these 2 sports, this athlete, like many who have received this award, is known for his tireless work ethic and commitment. As his coach said about this team captain and all KingCo second team player, improvement was never something this athlete hoped for. It was something he worked for every day. This work led him to be an incredibly dangerous offensive player, one of the league's best shooters and clutch performers. The moment that best defined this athlete was the state tournament game where he personally outscored the opponent in overtime to lead his team to the Tacoma Dome. Unfortunately, season ended in the Dome, but the very next day this athlete was on the soccer pitch joining his team who had already begun the season. Described as a fierce competitor, energy provider, and challenge seeker, this athlete was a key starter on the soccer team the past 2 years. He was someone who, as his coach tells it, was there to pick up the intensity whenever needed. It should also be noted this athlete stopped playing soccer for a few years prior to picking it back up his junior year, which just speaks to his incredible athletic abilities. A big congratulations to the very deserving recipient of RHS's 25-26 Male Senior Athlete Student Athlete of the Year, Drew Rinos Rumbach.
Congratulations. Each year, teachers, counselors, administrators, and support staff contribute to the staff scholarship as a final expression of their belief in the potential of our graduating seniors. The recipient of this scholarship is selected after consideration of the many ways students have engaged with their high school experience. The committee looks at a student's growth over time, academic journey, involvement in school activities, work experience, contributions to the community, and the impact they have on those around them. This year's staff scholarship recipient has demonstrated perseverance, character, and a commitment to making the most of his opportunities. As our staff shared their thoughts about this student, the same themes came up again and again. A smile that lights up every room, a contagious positive attitude, a good-natured outlook, and, quote, one of the kindest people I've ever met. He makes genuine connections with both peers and staff, creating a warm and welcoming energy in every space he's in. This student has demonstrated resilience and determination. In the classroom, he excelled through hard work and curiosity. He has put tremendous effort into getting good grades, even when things didn't come easily. Teachers note that he couldn't be more respectful or ask more thoughtful questions. Teacher Quinn Fugini shared that he leans into challenging work because he genuinely wants to grow his understanding and deepen his learning. He has also excelled in fine and performing arts, including photography, drawing, ceramics, and drama. Next year, he plans to attend Bellevue College, where he will study computer science. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the 2026 Redmond High School Staff Scholarship, Daniel Katia. Redmond High School seniors, families, and friends, we have arrived at the most exciting part of the evening. I am thrilled to be able to say, Dr. Holman, on behalf of the staff of Redmond High School and the power given to me by the state of Washington and the Lake Washington School District Board of Directors, I certify that the students participating in this ceremony have met the requirements established by state and local authority and are, from this day forward, graduates of Redmond High School. Seniors, we will now present the diplomas.
Sophia Grace Abreu.
Sawyer Joseph Long.
Prisha Agarwal.
Alexander Liu.
Arav Agarwal.
Amy Wenqing Liu.
Ishan Agarwal.
Audrey Michelle Lucas.
Tanzim Ahmed.
Alan Luty.
Sidra Ahmed.
Lucy Lahavitsky.
Pulkit Ahuja.
Daxon Matthias Makis.
Arushi Amirha.
Ali Mackey.
Ahad Ali.
Sean Amen McLaughlin.
Muhammad Ali.
Raul Madhan.
Yahya Ali.
Joshua Marr.
Ayan Shadab Alim.
Mahir Ujay Mazgaukar.
Andy An Pham.
Maxwell Gregory Macagon.
Lena El Rubai.
Alex Maldonado Jacinto.
Harun Muhammad Amir.
Raul Singh Mully.
Itai Amihad.
Rohan Singh Mully.
Zara Amir.
Leah Ann Manasco.
Twisha Amit.
Sutej Reddy Mandati.
Maxwell Anderson.
Swethan Annapurna Mudalika.
Maria Chiara Angelici.
Sama Mandrupkar.
Kellen Antonsen.
Mira Mano.
Miriam Apinyan.
Sarah Grace Manthai.
Fiore Alexis Archer.
Kai Andrew Marcelle.
Camila Arzeta Leva.
Nick Marku.
Bronson Andrew Arzillo.
Jocelyn Martinez Padilla.
Ryan Eric Ashley.
Jeb Mason.
Arav Atre.
Isabella Ann Matthews.
Penny Jane Atwood.
Mohammed Tariq Mayar.
Lillian Avanesian.
Miley Elizabeth McCall.
Ansh Bajaj.
Jackson Cole McCloskey.
Viknesh Balamurugan.
Ethan Hunt McIntyre.
Varsha Balasubramanian.
Isaiah McMahon.
Kenna Maluhia Baldwin.
Lorelei Taylor McMillan.
Fiona June Ballas.
Layla Dawn McNabola.
Sophia Elise Barnaby.
Carmen Nicole McNabola.
Tanvi Abjit Bate.
David Alejandro Medina.
Dylan Edward Began.
Anya Mehta.
Rashit Bihara.
Dihen Devnitha Menakumbura.
Valentina Isabel Beidler.
Sebastian Michael Miodovich.
Ashita Kabushan Belsare.
Ruchi Miao.
Thomas Bursagol.
Shani Michaeli.
Sophia Ann Byrice.
Shiri Michaeli.
Rohit Bhagwat.
Connor Minikin.
Yes!
Ahme Barambe.
Kushagra Mishra.
Bodhi Baskar.
Kavya Mithra.
Bennett Brejesh Bhatia.
Kaya Mithra.
Gerard Batier.
Dhruv Mithil.
Olivia Eleanor Bishop.
Afnan Mohammed.
Vinicius Porto Bittencourt.
Faiza Ahmed Mohammed.
Shiloh Ziggy Blanco.
Hamza Mohammed.
Ron Buganim.
Tahir Yasser Mohammed.
Ella Borman.
Sanobar Mohammadi.
Aryan Bose.
Rashil Moletti.
Omar Boucher.
Asan Momand.
Kevin Dempsey Bomer.
Miles Marquise Moore.
Winry Isis Bradford.
Zoe Moore.
Alan Bro.
Mayrin Morales Vasquez.
Lucy Brailova.
Anahad Multani.
Julian Kelsey Brown.
Siri Mutalik Desai.
Thomas Andrew James Brightmore.
Pranith Nagarajan.
Tiernan Michael Brown.
Shruti Naik.
Caroline Bryant.
Skylar Najira.
Lance Bradley Burt.
Varin Nalabothula.
Luis Cabrera.
Anya Nunda.
Julia Quinn Katie.
Sada Savam Narayanan.
Lon Kai.
Anouk Navarro.
Whitney Kai.
Gabrielle Nagusai.
Liam Matthew Kane.
Reese Aaron Nesbitt.
Meta Maria Captorio.
Lucas Nguyen.
Dalton Christopher Carter.
Cade Michael Neiman.
Alvin Chang.
Sam Grace Nonest.
Caitlin Diaz Chang.
Lucia Norris.
Alexander Check.
Brianna Owana.
Ethan Chen.
Aiden Olson.
Lucas Yu Chen.
Kevin PJ Olson.
Sihan Chen.
Yulia Alexandra Oshevska.
Theodore Benjamin Chen.
Kimberly Ong.
Kirkland Alexander Chang.
Rion Osman.
Lainey Judith Christensen.
Shri Joshika Varma Pakalapati.
Morgan June Christian.
Melody Panahande.
Matthew Lockhin Chui.
Hia Pandey.
Jana June Jung.
Luca Panich.
Roman Collins.
Grace Perry.
Soren Copeland.
Aditi Patel.
Isaac Coverston.
Aditya Patik.
Lachlan Andrew Craig.
Aona Patnaik.
Eusebio Cruel.
Mara Gabriela Peku.
Joe Cronkite.
Jackson Lion Pennick.
Raymond Sivakumar.
Emma Penkov.
Ren Che.
Katir Periasamy.
Stephanie Kuzerzon. All right, Sadie.
Nathan Petchtenlarp.
Sadie Lynn Curtin.
Ray Petrenko.
Katie Ann Seigan.
Neha Fatak.
Addison Reed Davis.
Ileana Piker.
Victoria Bell Davis.
Emmanuel Perez da Silva.
Luke Delaporte.
Jaden Placencia.
Felix Dang.
Maher Podar.
Amandine Dennis Larocque. Let's go, dude.
Solomon Nathaniel Poon.
Zachariah El Kadiri DeRose.
Priya Hemant Kumar Prajapati.
Nandika Devarajan.
Ria Prakash.
William John DeWolf.
Adarsh Prasad.
Unati Dharamshi.
Alexis Prinos Grumbach.
Janavi Dharmadikari.
Drew Dimitri Prinos Grumbach.
Anthony Lance Zuniga Diana.
Elizabeth Renee Pronovo.
Chloe Din.
Adwita Perkayesta.
Adi Sarab Dubey.
Andre Piatenko.
Rebecca Claire Ducat.
Arti Ramasani.
Sam Duncan.
Sahasra Ramaneni.
Shaylee Dunlap.
Regina Abigail Ramos Arachiga.
John Kai Dupuy.
Stuti Rao.
Alaga Rishi Durkarajan.
Amruta Rashinkar.
Claudia Echevers Cook Shaw.
Jonathan Wade Rector.
Aaron Agilmez.
Isabella Madeline Reed.
Rita Aya El Wakid.
Bruno Regalado Lopez.
Renard Alazari.
Freya Rieger.
Henna Eldergami.
Maya Suki Riestead.
Mirren Isabella Escuti.
Alexander Casper Ryder.
Daniil Fatkulin.
Christopher Reyes Gill.
Haley Elizabeth Feckner.
Siba Matthias Nicolas Richter.
Kina Amalika Elise Fernandez.
Lido Joseph Rivers.
August Fernandez.
Sakina Waris Rizvi.
Nathan Shane Fisher.
Isaac Michael Robertson.
Jay Fitzgerald.
Ainsley Margaret Rogers.
Florist Thea Fleming.
Rotem Ronan.
Miles Timothy Foss.
Marcos Humberto Rosales Santiago.
Max Fu.
Danny Ellis Rosemond.
Amira Munira Ghalib.
Miriam Donna Ross.
Merrick Harrison Gallagher.
Andrew Roussel.
Saragvi Garg.
Elitsa Rusenova.
Sam Rose Goche.
Forrest Bugby Royal.
Hannah Ayala Gubber-Michael.
Addison Grace Roosh.
Maddie Paul Gepner.
Barrett Rugi.
Christopher Gloriou.
Summer Saini.
Neil Goley.
Sanj Saini.
Adriano Gomez Cueva.
Suver Saini.
Daniela Gomez Cueva.
Alejandro Salas Brisa.
Moises Gomez Castillo.
Edgar Saltos.
Hirokazu Kuhara Gui.
Landon Brent Samodine.
Owen Paul Gore.
Joshua Samuel George.
Aaron Gotidok.
Eric Shell Sanchez.
Margaret Elizabeth Golding.
Aria Sane.
Suhani Goyle.
Srinidhi Santha Kumar.
Andrew Green.
Parthiv Saravanan.
Adam Gustache.
Varun Sarda.
Andy Gu.
Noah Sarmast.
Gregor Guerra Hernandez.
Mariam Satar.
Minugi Oneja Gunawardana.
Nirja Sate.
Monica Larissa Gupta.
Arvind Satyavolu.
Andrew Guthrie.
Julia Barbara Caldwell Schneider.
Jocelyn Guzman Leal.
Aaron Ricardo Scottkin.
Noah Flynn Hagemeyer.
Nishant Sengupta.
Theo Hall.
Dawet Gurmai Sarike.
Mujib Ullah Amdard.
Aishwarya Sheshwathri.
Shayan Mohammed Hawk.
Abhigya Uthkarsh Shah.
Kenneth Kim Hashimoto.
Amza Shahab.
Anaya Hassan.
Sua Anjum Sheikh.
Gregory Asher Hatch.
Boris Shakov.
Jen Hatley.
Shreya Sharma.
Skylar He.
Jonathan Shasha.
Jaden Xavier Heath.
Justice Shed.
Caden Lotus Beth Heberer.
Arnav Shrestha.
William Christopher Henry.
Matthew Sicarello.
Daniel Jesus Hernandez.
Colby Kiyoshi Sue.
Omar Franco.
Safa Fatima Sekender.
Julieta Hernandez Orozco.
Michael Matthew Sekilian.
Amir Hills Mahmood.
Isabella Grace Silverman.
Kyrie Hisatomi.
Audrey Haridas Singh.
Addison Moraine Hofling.
Suhani Singh.
Benjamin Jonathan Holman.
Emma Sophie Sipos.
Brady Michael Holt.
Alexander John Smith.
Ava Mariam Hossein Javaheri.
Anjulia Michelle Smith.
Sebastian Hoyos Rojas.
Matthew Reese Moore Smith.
Riley Xiaoqing Huang.
Claire McKenna Solberg.
Austin Shu.
Arav Samaya.
Sophia Shu.
Cadence Elizabeth Spohr.
Leleana Rule Hubble.
Arvind Srinivasan.
Bora Hormali.
Tanner Steeples.
Linnea Joe Hutton.
Olive Josephine Stevens.
Daniel Peter Elia.
Kali Bollier Stewart.
Koda Dylan Ishiyama.
Samyukta Subramanian.
Yuki Iwao.
Trisha Sudakar.
Dhruv Iyengar.
Mia Sudo.
Ananya Jyotsna Iyer.
George Sugden.
Meenakshi Iyer.
Naveed Noor Solomon.
Divine Angela Hope Jackson.
Emily Faustina Sutanto.
Megan Alyssa Jax.
Ruby Ree J. Sawai.
Ria Hari Jayanti.
Ananya Swaminathan.
Yiyang Ian Ja.
Kira Swanson.
Mia Joe.
Hala Taha.
Chase Michael Joanno.
Rama Taher.
Ann Joby.
Rayan Taj.
Cooper Wyatt Johns.
Anirudh Taluri.
Isaac Levi Johnson.
Shravya Thamran Una.
Jake Douglas Johnson.
Oasis Tariq.
Lincoln Johnson.
Unea Taredarsai. Unea.
Lillian Amalia Jones.
Reese Anderson Teshki.
Ayumi Sunkit Joshi.
Ishan Thorat.
Dhruv Joshi.
Prukar Tavari.
Rashmi Joshi.
Riley Carolyn Torgetson.
Shika Joshi.
Quan Tron.
Riley Grace Jossi.
Martina Trivisial.
Tilda Junistam.
Jackson Trisco.
Charvi Jaturi.
Caden Andrew John Tucker.
Shreyas Reddy Kakanuru.
Sarah Ujjainwata. Wala.
Aditya Rajesh Kamath.
Ilona Uka.
Namrata Kanakapali.
Clyde Tyler Mendoza Umali.
Rahet Kapoor.
Ruby Claire Unger.
Maida Karnati.
Marco Alberto Urebe Munez.
Ashish Karthik.
Miranda Sofia Urebe Munez.
Jack David Caskell.
Darshika Vie de Sarvaran.
Jax Lee Kawaguchi.
Justin Van Bibber.
Aaron Choi K.
Benjamin Van Gorkum.
David King.
Malfika Vejalanda.
Young Jin Kim.
Rithika Vashali Vutaraman.
Min Soo Kim.
Camille Vigoro.
Liam Michael Kinsella.
Dariel Villalobos Avila.
Matthew Sergey Harun.
Sofia Celeste Villamazar.
Nathan Charles Koliha.
Aditya Siddharth Vinukunda.
Anastasia Kim.
Lily Grace Ray Viola.
Ian Moises Townsend Kloss.
Dylan Vu.
Lawrence Xavier Koberstein.
Tashi Wegmara.
Max Michael Kirilovich.
Benjamin Richard Walsh.
Daniel Eli Katia.
Bahui Wang.
Aisha Khan.
Grant Casey Wang.
Isabella Colliker Freres.
John Keaton Watson.
Hayden Cops.
Reed Watson.
Isla Aurora Copra.
Lindsay Madison Watson.
Nicholas Richard Kroc.
Shreya Vinod Shankar.
Samantha Jane Kuyat.
You want all of these?
Benjamin David Wiener.
Luca Alois Kukalecha.
Julia Yuju Win.
Kylie Maureen Kolinsky.
Tyler Ronald Wentz.
Tanvi Kulkarni.
Isaiah Lee West.
Aditya Kumar.
James Earl White III.
Cooper Drew Coons.
Cole Michael Wilcox.
Declan Edward Kurtzaborn.
Colson Wiley.
Tegan Joan Lang.
Ian Wu.
Stella Paz Lantinga.
Justin Xia.
Aaron Larson.
Austin Xie.
Austin Mitchell Laves.
Catherine Xie.
Lucia Ledesma Ochoa.
Ella Xu.
Adam Wilson Lee.
You want the Yan? Jake Yan Shui.
Noah Lee.
Eli Yanovich.
Samantha Lee.
Jerry Yao.
Ryan Lehue.
Marvin Yap.
Ryan Lehue.
Adam Yee.
Ido Levanoni.
Jenna May Yeckley.
Caitlin Alicia Levinson.
Nathaniel Yepes.
Zachary Daniel Liu.
Sarah E.
Andrew Lee.
Oscar Ulitalo.
Kai May Licklider.
Hanwen Yuan.
Sirjana Carr.
Amrina Yusra Zahir.
Isabella Grace Lee.
Rebecca Ann Zaituni.
Samuel Lee.
Aiden Zhang.
Ethan Lee.
Alex Zhang.
Mia Renee Linpa.
Grace Zhang.
Mayra Lim.
Ijia Zhang.
Cecilio Lindquist.
Alice Zhao.
Jeffrey Hai Liu.
Friedrich Zhao.
Alina Liu.
Ethan Zheng.
Audrey Logan Locati.
Iris Yumo Zheng.
Sophia Marie Locati.
Kyle Zhuang. Von Zimmerman. Davin Chagall Zimmet. Saul Ansel Zimmet. Ava Zrazevskaya.
Distinguished guests, families, and friends, it is my honor to present to you the Redmond High School graduating class of 2026. The class of 2026 will be represented by Senior Class President Liam Kinsella. Liam, please join me on stage. Over the past 2 years, Liam has served in student leadership, first as junior class treasurer, and this year as senior class president. In these roles, Liam has helped lead the class of 2026 with thoughtfulness, humility, and steady leadership. Throughout that time, he has earned the respect of his peers and staff alike through his calm demeanor, measured approach, and willingness to thoughtfully contribute to the work of building a strong school community. In addition to his leadership, Liam has been a dedicated member of the Redmond High School Orchestra for all 4 years of high school. This fall, Liam will attend the University of Washington, where he plans to study environmental science. Today, he has the honor of responding for the class in their last farewell and leading his classmates through one of the most memorable traditions of graduation, the turning of the tassel and the tossing of the caps. Please join me in welcoming Senior Class President Liam Kinsella for the final piece of tonight's Class of 2026 commencement ceremony.
So the original speech that I wrote for this was all about the time you spend in the little moments that lead up to the big moments. But after some reflection, I realized the small moments for me is a lot of doing nothing. I don't know about you guys, but in my senior year, I've done at least 1 hour of nothing most days. An hour of sitting on my butt and scrolling my phone, essentially just twiddling my thumbs until time passes. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of doing nothing and think to myself, I should do something. And then I don't do anything. Often when I find myself in this state, I get angry at myself for doing just so much nothing. It feels disrespectful to the people that want me to succeed, that I sit and do nothing for an hour. An hour a day of doing nothing over 4 years of high school is like 1,000 hours of nothing, including Sundays, a day I dedicate to doing nothing. The number of nothing hours could very well be in the millions. But going back to my first speech's message of growth and change, I asserted that over time you'll become this whole new person if you just give it time. But now I'm warning you. If you allow yourself that hour of nothing every single day, you will stay right where you are. If you let all this time pass by when so many people are in your corner waiting to watch you do amazing things, I'm sorry, but you are not at liberty to waste time like that. So take that time you plan on wasting and turn it into something productive. Pick up an instrument, plant a garden, learn to sew, whatever you want to do. Just please, please, don't let all that time go to waste before you regret it. In a moment, I'll ask you to stand for the turning of the tassel. When you walk out of this ceremony, you have one objective. Stop wasting time before it's too late. Students, please stand and join me in the turning of the tassel. Please take your tassel in your right hand, turn it across your face to the left, and now we are officially graduates of Redmond High School. All right.
Congratulations, class of 2026. Please make your way to the concourse to meet your families and have a wonderful night. We are so incredibly proud of you.